Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Rock Fabulous 40s. It is Saturday morning, and this video I believe is going to go up on Thursday. And I just got finished filming my favorite high-end and drugstore primers. And now I want to show you guys my favorite, I do have a top 5 in each category, my favorite 5 high-end foundations and my favorite 5 drugstore or affordable foundations. So again, I'm doing this because, and I know I explained it in the last video, if you guys saw that, I will link that video down below, but I explained in the last video, and the same thing goes here, that the reason why I'm doing my top 5 in each category is because I want to see if at the end of the year my top 5 has changed. And a lot of these foundations I have used all through 2017, some of them even from before then, and they have remained my favorite year after year after year. And you guys will notice that some of these foundations, a lot of them are from the same brand. I've had really good luck with a couple of specific brands, and you guys will notice that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump right in. Okay, so we're going to start with my high-end foundations, and we're going to start with number 5. So like number 1 is going to be my most favorite, and number 5 is going to be on the lower end of my favorites, but still a favorite nonetheless. So we're going to jump right in with number 5 on my high-end. Number 5 on my high-end spectrum here is the Urban Decay Naked Skin One and Done. This is the Hybrid Complexion Perfector. It does have a broad SPF of 20. So broad spectrum SPF 20 right here. And I love this, and you guys can see I've used quite a bit. Okay, it comes in a tube with a pump. I am in the shade Medium Light. Ugh, ears itching. Which it is a little too light for me, but if I do my bronzer strategically, it's perfect. Let me do a little pumpy here. Alright, so what I love about this is it's very lightweight. I don't feel it on the skin. It is not a full coverage foundation. It is more, you guys can see it there kind of, it is more of a light to medium coverage. It's not a full coverage. It does have kind of a velvety finish. It's almost a matte finish, but not quite completely matte. And it just looks beautiful on my skin. It does not sink into any lines or pores, or it just feels nice, and it just looks beautiful throughout the day. And this is one of the ones that I have found that the longer I wear it throughout the day, the actual better it looks on my skin. And it is very hydrating on my skin, and I do really like that. So again, the Naked Skin One and Done is number 5 on my list. I usually always apply all of my foundations with a brush, with a really dense foundation or buffing brush. If I use a sponge, if a sponge works better on any of these, I will let you guys know in this little video here. The next on my list is number 4. It's from IT Cosmetics, and this is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC+. This is one of my absolute favorites. I am in the shade Medium Tan in this, and this is really nice. It does have an SPF of 50. It is very hydrating on my skin. It doesn't sink into any lines or wrinkles, but what I do realize is once I've applied this and I've actually let it set on my skin for about 5 minutes, I do take a Kleenex and just kind of dab right here, because if I don't, it does tend to collect a little bit just right there. It doesn't get in any of the other lines, but just a little right there. So if I dab with the Kleenex, it doesn't do that. And this is just a beautiful foundation. It's got a very nice coverage. I would say it's called a CC cream, but it's got a really, I don't want to say full coverage, but a really strong medium to almost full coverage. With it being a CC cream, that's kind of cool, actually. There's not a whole lot of CC creams that do that. And it is tube with a pump. Let me go ahead and squirt just a bit out here. Okay, so it looks kind of thick when you squirt it out, but once applied to the skin, it just blends in beautifully, and it gives a very natural finish. Now, I did have the IT Cosmetics CC Plus illuminating one, and I didn't like that one because I felt like it left little flecks of glitter on my skin. It did illuminate, but it left little flecks of glitter, and it did really sink into lines and pores, so I wasn't a real fan of that one, but this one doesn't really do that. And it feels just really nice on the skin. It does feel to me just a little bit heavier than the One and Done, but then again, it's got a fuller coverage than the One and Done. So I really do like this, and I can apply this both with a brush or with a sponge, and it comes out the same way either way that I tend to apply it. So my favorite way to apply this one though is I will spread it around my skin with my brush, and then I will take my dampened sponge and just really press it in after I do that, and it really presses it into the skin and just kind of makes it meld with my skin, and it just looks beautiful. So this is number 4. Then number 3 on my list is also from IT Cosmetics, and this is the IT Cosmetics Celebration Foundation Illumination. This guy right here. I know it's white and it's making my camera do funky things. You guys see that? Anyway, so what I love about this guy is I am not a big powder foundation person. To me, powder foundations seem to stick to every dry patch I have on my skin, and just so you guys know, my skin right now is very dry. I do get a little bit of oil in my T-zone, which it's not bad, but right now, wintertime, I'm very dry. And this, typically powder foundations typically stick to dry spots and just cakes up on my skin. So I'm not a big fan of powders. This doesn't do that. This is a gorgeous foundation. You guys will see I've hit pan here, so I've used it a lot. But this is a gorgeous foundation. It does not look cakey on my skin. The best way that I have found to apply this is with a flat top kabuki. Let's see. Let me find a good flat top. Here, like this one, this is just a BH Cosmetics flat top. I love to apply it with a flat top kabuki, just a dense kabuki brush. And you see it powdering off of me here. But when applied to the skin and just really blended in, it's got some really, really good coverage. And it never, never cakes up and looks powdery on my skin. It makes my skin look natural and healthy, and believe it or not, for a powder, it just gives me a little bit of a radiance without there being any flecks of glitter or anything like that. Do you guys see how that just sunk right in? You can't see any cakiness there at all. It is just a beautiful foundation, and it is one of my all-time favorites. That's why it's number 3 in my favorites pile here. So again, this is the IT Cosmetics Celebration Foundation Illumination. So let me just throw a suggestion out to you guys with this one though. If you want to try this out, my suggestion is to go in store, Ulta or whatever, and get color matched. And then once you know what color you are, and by the way, I'm in light, go online and go on QVC, QVC.com, because a lot of times if you order this, they will also include a foundation brush with it. So when I ordered mine actually came with one of the Heavenly Luxe flat top kabuki brushes from IT Cosmetics, and IT Cosmetics brushes are beautiful brushes. So it was $48. So it was either $48 or $52, I don't remember, for the foundation and the brush, okay, together on QVC. If I had done the foundation separately, it would have been like $38, and then the brush itself would have been $42. So I would have spent a lot more money buying them separately. So by going on to QVC to purchase this, I was able to get this and the brush together in a package deal for way less, and it was really pretty awesome. So a lot of times I'll check QVC for different products or different deals that they might have online of things that I want to try. And IT Cosmetics is one of those brands on QVC where 9 times out of 10 they offer a little extra something something when you order. So like I said, I got this in the brush. I mean, it was 48 bucks, I think. I really think it was $48. So I mean, it was a really, really good deal. So that's just my suggestion. I'm rambling. If you guys want to buy from Ulta or whatever, go for it. I'm just saying, QVC, you can usually get a brush with this for next to nothing. And I'm going to quit rambling now, and I'm going to move on to number 3, because this is turning out to be a longer video than what I want. All right, number 3. Actually, my number 3 and my number 2 are hold on. Okay, so number 2, and actually my number 2 and my number 1 are from the same brand. So number 2 is the Clinique Super Balanced Silk. This guy right here. Love this guy. This guy feels beautiful on the skin. It's got a very natural finish on the skin. And I can apply this either with a brush or a sponge, and it does the same application either way. The only thing that I don't like about this is it's just the glass bottle. There's no pump here. So typically what I'll do is I'll take one of my little makeup spatula things and I'll dig a little bit out of the bottle and put it on a palette to use it. But there's no pump, it's just the glass bottle. So that's one downfall that I don't like about it. But it is a beautiful foundation. It makes my skin look very healthy. It makes my skin look very dewy and glowy. Now the original Super Balanced comes in the same type of jar from Clinique. I am not that big of a fan of because I feel like it just kind of sits on top of the skin and I can see my pores and it sinks into fine lines. But this one, the Super Balanced Silk, doesn't do that, and I think it's because it's just a little bit more natural looking on the skin. It's not a full coverage foundation. I would say it's probably medium. But it is a very nice feeling foundation, and I don't feel it on the skin at all. It does not sink into lines or wrinkles, and I have not ever had any problem with using this foundation with any primer. I can use it with any primer and it looks beautiful. It doesn't matter if I use it with more of a silicone-ish feeling primer or more of a primer that feels more hydrating. It doesn't matter. The foundation looks good on either type of primer, so really, really nice. And I really enjoy this one. And then my favorite, my number 1 for my high-end stuff here, and I'm sure you guys probably already know what it is also from Clinique, and it is the Clinique Even Better Makeup. This guy right here. This is my all-time favorite. I am in the color on this one, Cream Chamois. And Even Better I have used for years and has been my all-time favorite for years. It does have a little squeezy tube here. And the thing about this guy, let me get him up here. I've almost used him up. There we go. The thing about this guy is, you see, he's kind of liquidous, so when you blend him in, it's very light feeling on the skin. It blends in beautifully, and it gives your skin, it's not quite matte. It's a little dewy, I want to say. But it is just a gorgeous, gorgeous foundation. There's nothing flat about this foundation at all. And then just recently they came out with the Clinique Even Better Glow, and I consider both of these pretty much the same. I've got a video where I compared the two, and I will link that down below, or I might put it up here in the little eye. Not sure, but one of the two. Anyway, so these two actually are, in my opinion, after using them both, it doesn't matter which one I use, they both perform exactly the same. And they both look the same on my skin. They both have a very nice natural dew. Even though this one is called Even Better Glow, it's still a medium coverage and it still has a nice natural glow to it, but it's not any more glowy than the original Even Better. Okay? It's not any more glowy than the original Even Better. The colors are a little different because the Even Better Glow, I use it when I'm a little bit more tan, and the original, which I have in Cream Chamois, I use when I'm a little more white. If that makes sense, a little lighter. So this one's in Cream Chamois and this one is in Honey. So that's why the bottles look a little different in shade. But I do absolutely love both of these foundations exactly the same. They both perform the same, and on my skin they both look the same. They never stick to a dry patch, sink into a line or a pore. My favorite way to apply those is with a dense foundation brush. Like I might use, let me see if I can find a good one here. Like, okay, for example, I might use my Up and Up foundation brush, a very dense brush here, and I'll buff the foundation in all over the skin, and then after I've buffed it in, I'll take my Dampen Beauty Blender and press it into the skin even more and make it meld into the skin even more, make it look a little more natural. So those are my top 5 high-ends. So number 1 is my Clinique Even Better, number 2 is my Clinique Super Balance, number 3 is my IT Cosmetics Celebration Foundation Illumination, number 4 is my IT Cosmetics CC Plus Cream, my number 5 is my Urban Decay Naked Skin One and Done. Alright, moving on to affordable. Okay, so moving on to the more affordable brands, again going from number 5 up to number 1, and with the affordable brands it was a little harder for me to decide which ones were in my favorites, honestly, because a couple of these I've had mind changes about, and I will link some videos down below that have some reviews on some of these that I'm going to talk about, but some of them my mind has changed about. And here pretty soon I'm going to do a video of products that I have changed my mind about. So I'm not going to tell you which ones in the stash I have changed my mind about just yet, but stay tuned and that video will be coming soon. Anyway, so this was difficult for me to decide because when I get set on a drugstore foundation, that is the one that I use all the time, and it's so hard for me to test out other affordable or drugstore foundations because I'm so afraid that they're going to break me out or they're just going to look like crap, and so I just don't really do a whole lot of that. I do have a whole bunch of that I've tried and I have videos of, and there's a lot that I did not like. So these are the ones that I did like. So starting with number 5 is the Superstay Better Skin from Maybelline. This guy right here. A lot of people have compared this guy to the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, but honestly guys, I don't like that foundation. I had issues with it. I couldn't find a good skin tone match. It sank into my lines and wrinkles. I just didn't like it. This one on the other hand is, let me get a little bit out here. This one on the other hand, I feel the texture is just a little bit better than that one, and it was easier for me to find a color match. And what color am I in? I am in the color, where are you at? I am in the color Classic Ivory in this one. Anyway, so this one is very light feeling on the skin, and it is, even though it's called Superstay Better Skin, it's supposed to be a more natural looking foundation, but on me it is a little matte, but it's not bad and it never looks cakey on me. So this one is actually, for an affordable brand, is actually pretty good. So again, the Superstay Better Skin. Alright, so number 4 on my list is from e.l.f. And I cannot for the life of me remember what the name of this one is. I think it's like the Perfect Finish Foundation or something like that. I can't remember. I'll leave the name down below. But I really like this one. This one is a nice foundation. And I'm not a big e.l.f. foundation fan. There's one or two that I've kind of liked. But this one was really good. And it really sat really nicely on the skin. It was not matte. It wasn't dewy either. It was very natural. Let me blend out. It is a little bit thicker than the Superstay Better Skin, the Maybelline one. It is a bit thicker. Yeah, on the back of my hand the color looks off, but on my face it's a perfect match. It doesn't sink into lines or wrinkles, but I do have to use this one pretty sparingly because if I don't use it sparingly, I can actually feel it on my skin. But it, like I said, doesn't sink into pores, doesn't give me polka dots, doesn't get into lines or wrinkles, has pretty decent staying power. And the way that I like to apply that one is with a sponge. I like to use a sponge with this one because I feel it shears it out just a little bit. That was my phone. So with it being sheared out just a little bit, it looks really nice and very natural on the skin. Okay, so now if people would quit texting me. I'm sorry guys for the texts. Even though it's the weekend, being an IT manager for my daytime during the week job, that job never ends. I am constantly on call all the time, and I'm constantly getting texts and phone calls all the time. So I'm really sorry about the dinging that you guys hear. I'm getting texted from somebody about work, and I will answer them when I'm done with this video. Alright, again, so the e.l.f. foundation, I believe it was the Perfection or Perfect Foundation, something like that. Number 4, very good. Alright, so next in my list, number 3 is also from Maybelline. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless, this guy right here. Now, I tried the Maybelline Fit Me Dewy and Smooth and wasn't all that impressed, but I really like this matte and poreless one. Now, it does not have a pump. It is bottle, okay, glass bottle, no pump. And yes, it is matte, but I don't feel it on the skin. It never looks cakey on my skin. It blends right in, and it just kind of melds with my skin and just gives my skin a really nice, I want to say almost velvety finish, but it really masks a lot of the imperfections that I have on my skin. And this one I can build up a little bit, and it never gets cakey on me. So it is a really nice foundation. I'm going to say this is a strong medium coverage for me. I do apply it with a brush, and then I go over top with my beauty blender, my dampened beauty blender, and press it into the skin, and it just looks very nice. I want to say it's matte, but not overly matte, if that makes sense. It's not dewy or radiant. It is matte, but not overly matte. And a lot of times I can just do some highlighter on top, or I can just spray, just kind of my setting spray will kind of kick off some of the matte a little bit and make it a little more natural looking. But this is a wonderful foundation from the drugstore. So if you guys see this, scoop it up, because even on my 40-something-year-old skin, this still looks really, really nice, and I really like it. Alright, number 2 on my list. Alright, I'm just going to tell you guys, this is one that I kind of changed my mind about. At first I was kind of like, I was kind of wishy-washy about it, but I've grown to really like it, and I've been wearing it more and more. And this is from Wet n Wild, and it is the Photofocus foundation, this guy right here. I have grown to really like this guy. I am in the color, what color am I on this one? This is in Peach Natural, and it is very natural looking on the skin. It is more of a lighter coverage, I want to say. It does have like this little spatula here, but it is a beautiful, beautiful foundation on the skin. And the way that I apply this one, I don't use a brush with this one. It is so just airy feeling. I don't use a brush with this one. I use a dampened sponge, and the application with this is just absolutely beautiful that way. Make sure though that if you're going to use it with the sponge, you do dampen the sponge, because this is very liquidous, and if the sponge isn't dampened, it's going to soak it up into the sponge. So you want to make sure that your sponge is already dampened. But the finish on this is beautiful. It is I'm going to say a strong light coverage. It doesn't cover all the imperfections. I can still see, you know, my dark spots and stuff like that through it. But that's okay. I have dark spots. That's my skin. I am not all about covering every single dark spot on my face. I don't need to do all that. I've earned my dark spots, I'll put it that way. Anyway, it is a very nice feeling foundation. I don't feel it on the skin. It does not sink into lines and wrinkles. So I will typically use this with my Milani Prime Light primer, and it actually does a really, really nice job. Again, doesn't sink into lines or wrinkles, does not give me polka dots, and it's got some pretty decent staying power. It's not the greatest staying power on earth, but it is pretty decent, and I do really, really enjoy this. So again, this is the Wet n Wild Photofocus. And then we have the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. This is in my number 1 spot, and for those of you who have been watching me for a little while, you guys already know this. This is my number 1 favorite foundation from the drugstore. I have yet to find anything to top it. I love this. It is called Pro Glow, and yes, it's in a squeezy tube. It is called Pro Glow, but I don't feel that it's overly glowy. I feel that it's very natural on the skin. It is a light to medium coverage and can be built up. It does not sink into lines or wrinkles. It doesn't migrate around on my skin, and it lasts me all friggin' day. I can put it on in the morning before I go to work. I can go to the gym and work out after work, and then before I go to bed and I'm taking my makeup off, I can still see the makeup on my skin, and it still comes off on my makeup wipe. It hasn't broken up. I cannot say enough good things about this. It's just so beautiful. And it says on the back of it that it does have a radiant finish. I don't want to say it's radiant. It's not exactly radiant, but it is a more natural glow, and it looks beautiful. And it also says that it wears up to 24 hours. 24 hours, I don't know. I've not tried to wear it for 24 hours, so I couldn't tell you. But I do know that it wears for at least 8. It wears for 10. I've worn it for 10 hours before I've washed it off before, and it still looked really nice. It also says that the coverage is medium. I would agree to it being not a full medium, like a strong medium, but I would say on the lighter side of medium. So it can be on the lighter side of medium and then built up to more of a medium coverage, which I really enjoy. And it does say that it has a very air-light texture, and I would have to agree with that I really feel that it really does. So again, my number one, the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow foundation, is in my number one spot for the affordable or drugstore brands. Alright guys, so that is everything I got. I hope you guys found this informative or interesting or something. If you did, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Also guys, let me know if you have tried any of these foundations, what your thoughts were, and maybe throw some suggestions my way of some different foundations that I should try for this year, and I will make sure to get those on my try list. You guys can look me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, all under Rock Fabulous 40s. Also guys, if you want to be notified of videos that I have posted, go ahead and hit the bell down there as well. And there's always an and. Make sure you hit the subscribe down there. There is a subscribe button down there somewhere, probably under this video. Make sure you hit it so you too can rock your fabulous 40s, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.